Before we dive deeper into the science, take a moment to breathe. You've just journeyed through the temples of the ancients. You've seen how humanity once touched the divine through the language of dreams. If you find peace and wonder in these stories, remember to stay with Sleep History Archives, because the next chapter will guide you even further into the subtle world where science meets the soul and the modern mind rediscovers the sacred act of dreaming. Now, let us leave the marble halls of history and walk quietly into a new temple, the temple of the brain. Here, neurons replace columns and rivers of electricity flow like the Nile. The gods have not vanished. They've become patterns of light within you. The electrical symphony. Your brain, even while you sleep, never truly rests. It hums, a silent city of 90 billion neurons, each one whispering to its neighbors in pulses of electricity. When you drift toward sleep, this city changes its rhythm. Streetlights dim, traffic slows, and the great gates of consciousness begin to close. First comes stage 1, when the alpha waves of relaxation melt into slower theta waves. It's that floating moment between waking and dreaming, the hypnagogic bridge, where you might see flashes of imagery or hear phantom voices. Artists throughout history loved this threshold. Edison, Dali, Tesla, they napped with objects in their hands so that when sleep overtook them, they would drop the object, wake suddenly, and capture whatever vision had just emerged. That flicker between worlds is where genius lives. Then comes stage 2, where consciousness fades deeper, heart rate slows, body temperature drops. The brain emits short bursts called sleep spindles, tiny electrical storms that consolidate memories and protect your slumber from external noise. Stage 3 is the deep sleep. Slow delta waves roll through the cortex like ocean tides. This is the stage of restoration. Growth hormones release, tissues heal, the immune system recalibrates. It's the foundation of physical renewal. But the real mystery begins after roughly 90 minutes, when the body is still, yet the mind reignites with vivid color. This is REM sleep, the stage of dreams. The dance of REM. During REM, your eyes move rapidly beneath closed lids, tracking scenes only you can see. Your brain's activity becomes almost identical to wakefulness, except for one crucial difference. The muscles below your neck are paralyzed. Nature's perfect design. So you can run, fight, fly, love, and die within dream, without moving an inch. In this paradoxical state, the emotional centers of the brain, particularly the amygdala and hippocampus, flare like constellations. They replay and recolor the emotional experiences of the day. Meanwhile, The prefrontal cortex, the voice of logic, goes dim. The result, a world where emotion reigns, where metaphor replaces fact, where your heart paints and your reason sleeps. This is why dreams are irrational yet deeply meaningful. The brain's storytelling machinery refuses silence. It weaves feelings into imagery the way fire weaves smoke. If you ever wondered why you can wake from a dream with tears in your eyes, it's because your limbic system doesn't know the difference between memory and imagination. It feels everything as real. And in that emotional rehearsal, you heal. The alchemy of neurochemistry. Let's look closer, beneath the poetry. When you sleep, your bloodstream becomes a slow-moving river of transformation. Melatonin, released by the pineal gland as night falls, tells the body it is safe to rest. It lowers temperature and shields cells from oxidative stress. Then serotonin and norepinephrine, the daytime messengers of alertness, gradually fade. Their silence allows the mind to detach from physical reality. In REM, dopamine surges. It is the chemical of curiosity and creativity. That's why your dreams often explore, experiment, combine things that logic would never dare. Meanwhile, acetylcholine rises, stimulating vivid imagery and memory activation. It turns your inner darkness into cinema. And as morning nears, cortisol begins to climb again, waking the body but leaving behind the residue of dream, the soft echo of another world. To biologists, this is chemistry. To mystics, this is transmutation, matter turning into meaning. The alchemy of the body mirrors the alchemy of the soul. Experiments of the dreaming brain. Modern science has peered into the dream using machines of light. In the 1950s, a young researcher named Eugene Oserinsky attached electrodes to his son's head and discovered the strange rhythm of the eyes, the first recorded proof of REM. In the decades that followed, fMRI scanners revealed that during dreaming, the limbic system and visual cortex blaze with activity, while the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the rational planner, remains almost silent. This explains why in dreams we accept impossible things, that we can fly, breathe underwater, or meet people long gone. Our inner critic is asleep. Our imagination is free. At Harvard, scientists found that people awakened during REM could recall associations and creative solutions better than those awakened from deep sleep. Dreaming, it seems, is not random. It's cognitive rehearsal. At MIT, rats trained to run mazes replayed identical brain patterns while dreaming. They were practicing the maze again. In sleep, learning, memory, and emotion are not separate. They are woven together through the loom of dream. The science of emotional healing. The modern sleep researcher Matthew Walker once said, "Dreaming is emotional first aid." When you dream, stress chemicals like norepinephrine vanish from the brain. This creates a safe space where you can revisit painful memories without being overwhelmed by fear. Imagine your mind replaying the film of a difficult event, but this time, the soundtrack of terror is muted. You can watch, understand, integrate. That's how trauma slowly transforms into wisdom. Clinical studies confirm it. After REM-rich sleep, people show less emotional reactivity the next day. They handle conflict with more calm, empathy, and clarity. It's as if the night acts as a therapist who works for free and never speaks, just listens and rearranges. This natural healing system explains why insomnia and depression are intertwined. When dreams are suppressed, emotions have nowhere to go. The psyche becomes a closed circuit of static. So when you honor your sleep, you are not being lazy. You are allowing the most advanced form of therapy nature ever invented. The architecture of memory. Each night, as you pass through the sleep cycles, your memories are replayed, edited, and filed away. The hippocampus acts like a librarian, deciding which experiences deserve storage and which can fade. During deep sleep, factual memories, what you learned, what you read, are strengthened. During REM, emotional memories are processed. How those facts made you feel. Together, they form meaning. Dreaming may also be the birthplace of creativity. Paul McCartney heard the melody of yesterday in a dream. Einstein envisioned riding a beam of light while half asleep, an image that inspired the theory of relativity. The chemist Kekulé dreamt of a snake biting its tail, revealing the structure of the benzene molecule. The logic of dreams is the logic of creation. Non-linear, symbolic, intuitive. When the conscious mind steps aside, the deeper intelligence of the universe flows through freely. The quantum mirror. Today's physicists describe the universe as a web of probabilities, fields vibrating between potential and manifestation. Your brain, too, operates through quantum uncertainty. Billions of neurons firing, collapsing possibility into perception. Could dreaming be a microcosm of the same cosmic process? When you dream, your awareness collapses imagination into reality, just as the universe collapses energy into matter. Perhaps that's why dreams feel more real than real, because in that moment, your consciousness becomes creator, and reality bends to the will of attention. Science can't prove it yet, but the resonance is undeniable. The laws that govern stars may also govern your sleep. Integration, the night laboratory. Every night as darkness falls, you enter the most sophisticated laboratory known to humankind, your own mind. The body becomes still. The senses withdraw. And consciousness, freed from gravity, begins its research. It studies emotion, rebuilds tissue, records experience, invents art. All while you simply lie there, breathing softly, unaware. When morning arrives, you call it rest. But in truth, you have just completed an entire cycle of evolution. Your neurons rewired, your memories rearranged, your soul whispered to itself in 1,000 symbolic languages. The ancient dream temples were built of stone, but the real temple has always been here. Behind your eyes, within your pulse, between two breaths. So the next time someone asks, "What is the purpose of dreaming?" you can answer, "It is biology and poetry entwined. It is the nervous system learning to love itself. It is chemistry performing miracles under the name of sleep." When the ancients called dreams messages from the gods, they were not wrong. They simply used another vocabulary for the same phenomenon, the mysterious intelligence of life communicating with itself. You are the continuation of that lineage, the scientist and the mystic sharing the same skull. Close your eyes tonight. Let the neurons hum their quiet hymn. Somewhere in that music, science and spirit are no longer separate. They are simply dreaming each other awake. The language of the subconscious. The subconscious is not a place, it is a climate, a vast unseen atmosphere that surrounds and permeates consciousness. It carries every memory you have ever touched, every fear you have ever silenced, every possibility you have not yet lived. It does not speak in sentences. It speaks in symbols, rhythms, textures, and moods. It speaks through the language of dreams. When you dream, you are entering your own ocean of meaning. You are both diver and sea. The images that rise are not random. They are waves carrying messages from the depths, not in logic, but in resonance. The symbolic mind. The waking mind deals with facts. The dreaming mind deals with relationships. When it cannot say, it shows. That is why a door in a dream is never just a door. It is an opening between states of being. Water is emotion. Fire is transformation. The house is the architecture of the self. Sigmund Freud called the dream the royal road to the unconscious. He believed each symbol disguises a desire too powerful or too sacred to appear plainly. But his student, Carl Gustav Jung, saw something broader. He discovered that beneath personal memory lies a deeper layer, the collective unconscious, a shared psychic inheritance containing archetypes, the original patterns of all human experience. An archetype is not an idea, but a field of energy. The mother who nourishes, the shadow who conceals, the hero who ventures, the sage who knows, the child who begins again. These forces move through every culture, every age, every individual. They are the skeleton of story, the DNA of meaning. When an archetype surfaces in dream, it borrows the face of your own life, your mother, your teacher, your lover, yet it carries the weight of eternity behind those eyes. The dream is personal in costume, but universal in soul. The mirror and the shadow. Among all archetypes, the shadow is the most intimate. It is everything within you that consciousness has rejected. Anger, desire, envy, tenderness, power. What you deny does not vanish. It waits, and in dreams, it finally speaks. You may see it as a pursuer, a stranger, an animal in the dark. You may wake sweating, but the dream is not punishing you. It is inviting you. It says, "Look here." What you fear contains what you need. When you turn toward the shadow, not with judgment, but curiosity, it begins to transform. A monster becomes a teacher. A locked door becomes a threshold. The nightmare becomes initiation. Psychology calls this integration. Spirit calls it forgiveness. Both mean the same: wholeness. Every dream that frightens you is a rehearsal for love. The moment when light learns to embrace what it once refused to see. The inner child and the dream of healing. Some dreams feel small and tender. You are back in childhood, in the old house, hearing the same voices, smelling the same rain. It is not nostalgia. It is the psyche's way of returning to unfinished emotion. The inner child lives in every adult, the fragment that once felt wonder and wound in equal measure. When we grow, we build walls around it, but in dreams, those walls dissolve. You meet that younger self not to escape into the past, but to retrieve the vitality you left there. To heal through dream, you do not rewrite the story. You re-enter it with compassion. See the child. Do not correct him. Hold her. Do not demand strength. The nervous system relaxes, rewriting memory with the chemistry of safety. Modern neuroscience calls this reconsolidation. Mystics call it grace. The grammar of emotion. In ordinary language, words follow order. In the subconscious, feeling dictates form. Dream logic may seem absurd because it organizes by resonance, not reason. When two images appear together, the connection is emotional. A burning tree beside a mirror is not nonsense. It is the psyche saying, transformation reflects identity. Therapists who work with dreams listen for the verb behind the image, the action of the feeling. Falling expresses surrender. Running expresses resistance. Flying expresses release. Even color has syntax. Blue calms, red ignites, gold reconciles opposites. When you learn to read this grammar, every dream becomes a sentence written by your own life force. It tells you where energy is blocked, where love wants to flow again. The science of symbols. Inside the brain, symbols are not mystical abstractions. They are networks. When you see a tiger in a dream, the visual cortex paints its stripes. The amygdala floods adrenaline. The hippocampus retrieves every memory of threat or power, and the prefrontal cortex tries, faintly, to weave meaning. This neural orchestra compresses entire histories into a single scene. The brain encodes emotion in pattern and image because pattern is faster than language. A picture truly is worth 1,000 synapses. Recent imaging studies show that when people recall symbolic dreams, the same circuits involved in creativity and empathy light up. The subconscious communicates through metaphor because metaphor connects distant networks. In physics, energy seeks the shortest path. In psychology, meaning does the same. Dreams are quantum shortcuts between feeling and understanding. The archetypes in modern garb. The collective unconscious still speaks, but it now wears modern clothes. Where ancient peoples dreamed of gods and monsters, we dream of celebrities, machines, digital labyrinths. The forms change, the patterns do not. The hero's journey unfolds now as a startup founder facing failure. The lover's quest as the longing for connection in a crowded city. The trickster as the algorithm that both serves and deceives. Archetypes evolve with culture, but remain recognizable by their emotional fingerprint. This is why cinema, myths, and personal dreams feel alike. They are all translations of the same deep code. The universe telling its stories through human imagination. The subconscious as energy field. Beyond psychology lies vibration. Every thought emits a frequency. Every emotion a pattern of coherence or discord. When you dream, the boundaries of self loosen, and you tune into wider fields. Ancestral memories, collective fears, planetary moods. Quantum biologists suggest that microtubules within neurons may process information in quantum states. If true, consciousness is not confined to the skull. It ripples through space itself. Your dream may therefore be both internal and cosmic. A private resonance in a universal song. When you dream of ocean, perhaps the ocean dreams of you. When you see a stranger's face, perhaps it is a node in the same field of consciousness. The psyche and the cosmos are mirrors, reflecting infinite versions of each other. Reading the dream. To work with dreams is to learn respectful listening. Do not dissect them like corpses. Approach them as living teachers. Write them upon waking, even fragments, even feelings. Then read not for prediction, but for reflection. Ask 3 questions. 1. What emotion colored the dream? 2. Where in waking life do I feel that emotion now? 3. What would happen if I allowed that feeling to move instead of freeze? In this way, the dream ceases to be mystery and becomes dialogue. You speak, the subconscious replies, and through repetition, you build trust. Over time, patterns emerge, recurring settings, symbols, seasons. Each repetition is emphasis, not punishment. The psyche repeats what the heart has not yet understood. When understanding dawns, the dream changes its script. This is how healing writes itself into the fabric of night. Integration, the bridge between worlds. The subconscious is not beneath you. It is beneath and above, within and beyond. It is the soil in which consciousness grows, and the sky into which it expands. To live without its guidance is to walk only half alive. When you honor its language, the boundary between psychology and spirituality dissolves. Neurons and archetypes, hormones and myths, data and destiny. They are all expressions of the same intelligence learning to know itself. The ancient priest interpreting a dream and the modern neuroscientist scanning an fMRI are two facets of one phenomenon. Life studying its own reflection. To understand the subconscious is to realize that you are not a being who occasionally dreams, but a dream that occasionally wakes. Silence now. Feel how beneath your conscious thought, another rhythm continues. Steady, tidal, luminous. That is the voice that dreams use when words fall away. It is whispering even now, teaching you through symbol, emotion, and coincidence. It says, everything you seek in heaven, you already hold in the ocean beneath your mind. And as you drift toward sleep tonight, you may find yourself walking through that ocean, recognizing shapes of meaning glimmering like fish beneath moonlight. Do not chase them. Simply watch. Understanding will arrive not as translation, but as peace. Because to learn the language of the subconscious is not to decode a foreign tongue, it is to remember your own.